Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 337 based on novel. So let's start. It charged directly toward the one of the 18 heads. It was the middle-aged man head that was determined to kill Wang Lin. The slaughter energy was so fast that it closed in an instant. It landed on the head with a bang. Under this powerful impact, the Gi Chong couldn't help but pause. Wang Lin didn't have time to look at the outcome as he quickly retreated. In the blink of an eye, he closed in on the vortex and stepped inside. The moment he disappeared, he turned around to look at the Gi Chong, and his heart skipped a beat. The middle-aged man head's eyes were shedding black blood, but aside from that, it was unscathed. The Gi Chong trembled and all 18 heads looked up and let out a roar several times more powerful than before. This time it was truly angry. As the roar echoed, even the vortex Wang Lin was in became unstable. The Gi Chong arrived next to the vortex in an instant and charged in the moment Wang Lin disappeared. The first trial of the land of the ancient god was divided into metal, wood, fire, and earth trials. Back then, he entered the earth trial and took a risk to kill Hunchback Meng. This time he entered the metal trial. The moment he walked out from the vortex, what appeared before him was a graveyard of swords. There were broken swords stabbed into the ground everywhere. At a glance, this boundless world was completely covered in swords, and it was impossible to count them all. There was a powerful sense of sadness from the swords that gave off a lonely aura. Wang Lin didn't have time to observe his surroundings and immediately charged out. At the same time, his right eye lit up and thunder surrounded his body. From afar, Wang Lin looked like a thunder celestial of the past. He didn't hesitate at all to charge out, then he pointed behind him. The thunder around him seemed to have found an opening, and it shot out behind him. Just at this moment, the dark sky behind Wang Lin twisted. The angry Gi Chong stepped out and collided with the thunder Wang Lin had shot out. A thunderous rumble echoed across the sword graveyard when the thunder landed. The Gi Chong let out a roar and ignored the thunder. The 17 pairs of red eyes stared at Wang Lin as it gave chase. However, Wang Lin's power of thunder couldn't be underestimated. When the thunder fell on the Gi Chong, it made it impossible for the Gi Chong to speed up. It was as if the Gi Chong was going through divine retribution and Wang Lin was the heaven's messenger. As Wang Lin flew, his hands quickly formed seals. Thunder appeared from the void and flashed between his fingers before striking the Gi Chong. The Gi Chong continued to roar, the 18 heads continued to chant, and countless spells shot at Wang Lin. At this moment, a black cloud appeared before Wang Lin. It turned into a black tongue that quickly struck at him. Wang Lin's face was slightly pale and coldness filled his eyes. His right hand pointed at the void and called the wind covered half the sky. It turned into 4 black dragons and charged at the black tongue. A thunderous rumble echoed and the impact spread out in a ripple. Wang Lin dodged to the side to avoid the aftershock. Then his right hand formed seals once more and thunder appeared once more. A sea of flames also spread out along with the thunder. The Gi Chong let out a roar. The eyes of a head that was a man with blue hair turned cold, and he opened his mouth to spit. A ray of blue light appeared and water vapor appeared before the head. The water vapor immediately began to swell and large amounts of water appeared. It swept across the sky, making it look like an ocean had just appeared. The moment Wang Lin's thunder and fire pierced through the ocean, a boy-like head spat out a mouthful of cold energy. This cold energy was a chilly wind that caused the world to tremble and filled the world with cold energy. Crackling sounds came from the ocean and then the entire ocean froze into a glacier. The endless thunder was frozen within, and even the raging flames were motionless inside the ice. If that was it, it wouldn't be enough to be shocking, but the cold energy seemed to be able to create ice anywhere. Wang Lin clearly felt the cold energy coming at him from all sides. He noticed that there was hint of ice appearing all around him. Wang Lin had fought all his life and was very experienced, so he didn't panic at all. His body flashed red and the vermilion bird armor appeared around him. After the armor surrounded his body, the white vermilion bird let out a cry. Wang Lin charged out and directly smashed into the ice that was appearing. Popping sounds appeared from thin air. Before the ice touched Wang Lin, it already melted. This allowed Wang Lin to charge through the ice forming around him. After charging out of the ice, Wang Lin lifted his right hand and endless thunder appeared once more. This time he didn't send it at the Gi Chong, but at the sword graveyard. In an instant, the thunder landed on the ground and created a thunderous rumble. The thunder spread out and affected all the broken swords. The swords conduct thunder, so it quickly spread, and soon, all the swords within 10,000 feet were covered in thunder. With a roar, Wang Lin mercilessly raised his hand. When the Gi Chong was within 1,000 feet of him, all the swords on the ground were affected by the thunder and pulled up from the ground. These swords fell down like a rain of swords at the Gi Chong while carrying the might of thunder. Coldness appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. The Gi Chong had killing intent toward him, and at the same time, Wang Lin also had killing intent toward this Gi Chong that wouldn't give up. However, with his current cultivation level, it would be too difficult to kill the Gi Chong. If it wasn't for his speed, the Gi Chong would have caught up and devoured him. Although he was only here with his avatar and it wouldn't affect his original body much if he died, he had come here to see to Sen's strength, so he was unwilling to accept death here. At this moment, all the swords on the ground charged up at the Gi Chong. Wang Lin quickly retreated. As he did so, his hand moved and shot thunder at the ground. Every flash of thunder caused a thunderous rumble and made countless swords fly into the air. As Wang Lin moved faster and faster, almost all the swords within 5,000 kilometers rose into the air. Thunder surrounded the swords, and the dense group of swords formed a tight net. The whistling sounds of the swords was so loud that it even replaced the sound of thunder and suppressed the Gi Chong's roars. Rain of swords. Rain of swords is the only appropriate term to describe this scene. The countless swords were covered in rust, but all the rust had fallen off due to the thunder. There were countless shiny swords before Wang Lin that shot toward the Gi Chong. These swords moved faster and faster. Sword energy and thunder spread out and charged at the Gi Chong from all directions. The Gi Chong roared angrily, and the 18 heads chanted and its hands formed seals like a cultivator would. As the 18 heads chanted, black runes appeared before each head. More and more runes appeared, and they appeared even faster. The runes formed a light shield that covered its body. At this moment, the rain of swords arrived. Bang, 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 bang. The swords collided with the light shield like crazy, and the thunder gave them an amazing power. Also, the swords carried an aura of no turning back as they smashed into the light shield. If the light screen didn't shatter, the swords would shatter. Rumble, 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 rumble. The swords collapsed one by one into dust that was pushed away. However, other swords penetrated the dust and collided with the shield as well. This process lasted for dozens of breaths. The light screen gradually trembled and emitted flashes of black light. The light screen was showing signs of collapse, but the amount of swords was decreasing rapidly. How could Wang Lin let it end like this? His hand moved, sending out thunder to even further areas. Just as the first wave of flying swords collapsed, the second wave of swords covered the sky and came crashing down. However, just at this moment, a roar came from inside the light screen and the light screen turned transparent, revealing fire. The middle-aged man head among the 18 heads was spitting out large amounts of fire. However, this fire wasn't red, but golden. This golden fire charged out from the light shield and swept across the sky. The heat the fire contained was enough to melt all the flying swords. Seeing the fire, not only was Wang Lin not shocked, he was happy. After a flash of hesitation, Wang Lin's eyes became determined. It's a heavenly opportunity. Fire appeared in Wang Lin's left eye and surrounded his whole body. He shouted, "9 mysterious spell, fire escape." There was no limit for him where there were flames. Wang Lin turned into flames and disappeared. However, when he reappeared, he was within 30 feet of the Gi Chong, within the golden fire. The moment his body reappeared and he felt the heat, even he felt like the heat was a bit unbearable. However, he clenched his teeth and charged ahead once more. This time, he appeared 10 feet above that middle-aged man's head. Killing intent appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He raised his right hand and an iron sword appeared. This iron sword had a large amount of rust on it, and the moment it appeared, all the flying swords in this trial trembled. The origin energy inside Wang Lin charged into the iron sword and flashed. The origin energy turned into an heaven-shaking and stunning sword strike. The sword landed and blood sprayed out everywhere. There was a bang, then a line of blood appeared on one of the 18 necks. The middle-aged man's head's eyes revealed a look of disbelief. And he fell down. Without hesitation, Wang Lin withdrew his swords and rushed out. He used fire escape to grab the head and then appeared 10,000 feet away. He quickly left and didn't turn back. After successfully cutting off one head, even Wang Lin was shocked. Unless he was forced to, he would never have done what he just did. After all, the Gi Chong was an ancient beast that dared to fight an ancient god. His intention was to hurt the Gi Chong and thus give the second wave of swords a chance to attack. However, he didn't think this one strike would cut off a head. There wasn't enough time to think, so he could only grab the head of the middle-aged man that he found strange and escape. However, at this moment, the sky burst open into green flames, and there was a green fragment inside the flames. This fragment was like a piece of a porcelain that had shattered, but there was the power of heaven coming from that fragment. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, but he didn't stop at all. He grabbed the fragment and turned into a shadow as he charged ahead. At this moment, the branch with the head cut off rapidly shrank until it disappeared into green gas. The remaining 17 heads looked up and even its burly man body trembled violently. Then it let out a heaven-shaking roar. This roar suppressed the thunder and spread out in all directions. The entire realm seemed to be flipped upside down and all the incoming swords trembled. As the Gi Chong roared, it charged out. It was so fast that it instantly closed in on Wang Lin. The 17 heads chanted various spells and all attempted to devour Wang Lin. A storm immediately appeared and a green mist materialized from thin air. A giant green head appeared before the Gi Chong. It had the face of a human but was covered in scales and had a ruthless gaze. From afar, one could tell it was very large, no less than 10,000 feet tall. What was strange was that there was a handprint between the eyebrows of this head. This handprint was like a seal, and it released endless purple gas. As the Gi Chong roared, the strange head opened its mouth and attempted to devour Wang Lin. Just as the giant head appeared, countless strands of purple gas appeared in the sky and slowly formed a giant handprint. It didn't fall on the head but toward the Gi Chong. The 17 heads of the Gi Chong seemed unwilling and continued to roar in resistance. It seemed that even at the risk of facing that handprint, it was still going to summon the giant head. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. He had felt something was wrong earlier. Although this Gi Chong was strong, it didn't match the strength he had seen in two-size memory. Even though the one in two-size memory had 36 heads, this already had 18 heads. This suspicion had appeared in his head, but he hadn't thought about it. Just as he began to suspect something, the Gi Chong used a spell that made his scalp numb. The moment the head appeared, Wang Lin's cultivation seemed to stop and he was almost completely frozen. Just as the head attempted to devour him, a powerful suction force appeared around him. It wasn't a suction force he could resist, and with his cultivation frozen, Wang Lin was pulled directly toward the giant mouth. It seemed like the spell used by the head could devour the world. The flying swords in the second wave were all pulled over. If that was it, it won't be so bad. What shocked Wang Lin was that even the world was trembling as if it was going to be devoured by the mouth. The world was torn apart and pulled over. There was spirit from ancient times named Gi. Every time it devoured the world, it would gain one head. At this moment, this sentence appeared in Wang Lin's head. His face was pale and his body moved like a meteor. He was getting closer and closer to that mouth. At this moment of crisis, Wang Lin struggled to raise his right hand toward his eyebrows. Popping sounds came from his arm until it turned into stone, but he touched the spot between his eyebrows. With this, Wang Lin's entire right arm exploded and countless rocks flew into the mouth. However, after borrowing the explosion of the right arm, his frozen cultivation loosened a bit. In an instant, Wang Lin's left hand reached at the void and the storage space opened. he quickly threw the fragment and iron sword inside, then a beast skin flew out and landed next to the yellow talisman on his chest. This yellow talisman was a speed with a tattoo and the beast skin was another one. The beast skin was made by Tarshan using the inheritance from the tattoo clan holy ancestor. With 2 speed tattoos, Wang Lin's speed increased to an unimaginable degree. Borrowing this speed, Wang Lin clenched his teeth and struggled to escape the suction. He felt like he was smashing into large mountains. Popping sounds echoed as he charged out 100 feet. Just at this moment, his left leg turned into rock and collapsed into pebbles that were sucked away. The Gi Chong roared non-stop. The 17 heads were all ferociously facing the handprint that was closing in, and the veins on all the heads had swelled up. The giant hand released a bright, green flash and the suction force increased. Wang Lin's right foot suddenly collapsed while he was attempting to escape the suction force. His body could no longer escape half a step with the increase in suction force, and he was pulled back toward the big mouth. Wang Lin let out a wry smile as he moved his left hand that was turning into stone. He didn't hesitate to take off the 2 things on this chest and use the last of his cultivation to put them back into the storage space. After doing all of this, his vision blurred and he was devoured by the big head like all the countless flying words. The head turned into green light and returned into the Gi Chong's body. At this moment, the giant handprint stopped 10 feet above the Gi Chong. The 17 heads of the Gi Chong looked up and revealed a hint of dread, but they still roared. At this moment, the handprint shined brightly and the light enveloped the Gi Chong. The Gi Chong's body turned transparent and its inside became visible. If Wang Lin hadn't been devoured, he would have clearly seen that 9 out of the 17 heads contained a porcelain fragment. The purple light slowly disappeared along with the handprint as if it had never been there. The caution in the eyes of the 17 heads gradually faded. At this moment, a blob of flesh began to move near its neck, and soon a 10-foot-long branch stretched out. There was a head on the end of the branch. The head looked like Wang Lin. At this moment, inside the mountain on the moon outside planet Suzaku, Wang Lin, who was inside the celestial formation, suddenly opened his eyes, and they were filled with terror. Gi Chong. Wang Lin took a deep breath. He didn't expect the avatar he created to see Tuo Sen's power would die to the Gi Chong before even seeing Tuo Sen. Although the beast was very strong, I could still deal with it and even cut off a head. However, looking at it now, it seems the beast didn't use its full power. Presumably, it was afraid of something. Wang Lin thought of the purple handprint that had appeared on the head summoned by the Gi Chong and the one that appeared in the sky after the head was summoned. Could it be that it was sealed? If it uses its real power, it will activate the seal. That head that appeared was too terrifying. With those 2 with the tattoos, my speed was on par with a late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators, but I stood no chance against the suction force. Wang Lin silently looked ahead and pondered for a long time. Then he let out a sigh as he muttered with a wry smile, "Wang Lin, your current cultivation level is nothing in this world. I still need to be cautious about everything." Wang Lin revealed a bitterness. In the demon spirit land, he battled Master Void, he battled the Allseer with Sundered Night, he battled the Ancient Devil with Dream of Ancient Times, and then he became the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. After that, he successfully saved the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor and awakened Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. Along the way, Wang Lin's cultivation level increased, and after becoming the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, he got the various forces to battle Tuo Sen. All of this made it so he couldn't help but feel like everything was under his control, and battling Nirvana Shatterer cultivators had unknowingly given him a sense of complacency. If he was still cautious, he would have tried to run away from the Gi Chong instead of trying to injure it, and this resulted in his death. The death of his avatar was like a merciless blow to Wang Lin's mind. It completely shattered the trace of complacency in his heart to the point that not a trace of it remained. The feeling of death at that moment was very real, and it allowed Wang Lin to taste death for the second time. With bitterness, Wang Lin silently pondered for a long time before looking up again with a serious gaze. There was caution in his eyes as his hands formed a seal and pointed to between his brows. Another sliver of his origin soul split off. Just like before, he formed another avatar with the surrounding rocks and his origin soul entered it. Then, in a flash, the avatar disappeared from the mountain. Qing Lin's celestial spell requires too much celestial origin energy, so if I make too many avatars, it will affect my origin soul. This second avatar is already my limit. Wang Lin closed his eyes and placed his attention on the avatar. Using spatial bending, Wang Lin arrived on planet Suzaku once more. He didn't hesitate to make his way to the land of the ancient god. He took a deep breath at the entrance and stepped inside. Wang Lin moved through the abyss using the caution he had when he was at the core formation stage, and he soon arrived at the vortex to the first trial. His right hand reached out and took out a flying sword. He put a trace of his divine sense inside and the flying sword flew into the vortex. The moment the sword entered, he detected a sandstorm. Earth trial. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he charged in the vortex without hesitation. A world of sand appeared before him, and this familiar scene made him let out a breath of relief. Wang Lin dreaded the Gi Chong a lot. If he encountered it again, he would have no choice but to give up on checking Tuo Sen's power, give up this avatar, and quickly escape with his original body. Although Wang Lin was familiar with the Earth trial, he was still cautious. He avoided all the dangerous spots he had found before and used a day to find the entrance to the next level, then he stepped inside. Along the way, Wang Lin adhered to the principle of being cautious. He passed a lot of familiar ground as he entered the depths of the ancient god. He also met a lot of cultivators on the way. On the fifth day, Wang Lin entered the last trial of the land of the ancient god, which was the void. The moment he entered, Wang Lin immediately felt the fluctuations of spells echoing and also the sounds of treasures colliding. He retreated without any hesitation. There was a large amount of cultivators in the void. There were dozens of cultivators not far away from Wang Lin, fighting with an old man in red. The old man looked very old, and he didn't even need to use seals, he just waved his hands to create spells. All his spells were never seen before and contained a sense of time. The moment he saw this old man, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He vaguely remembered that it was one of the ancient Qi refiner cultivators that was in Tuo Sen's Sea of Blood. This old man was as powerful as a late-stage Nirvana cleanser cultivator. The cultivators fighting this old man all had coffins with them. The coffins were all opened, and corpse puppets were the main force attacking this old man. Although the old man was alone, the battle was extremely fierce. There were more than 10 dead bodies floating around. There were 7 or 8 cultivators standing around the battle, they were corpse sect disciples as well. There was a youth in black leading the way, and he was staring at the old man. He would often point with his finger and the corpse puppets attacking the elder would change formation. Wang Lin's appearance immediately caught the attention of both sides. When the old man saw Wang Lin, his eyes shined bright red. The people of the corpse sect also spotted Wang Lin, but they didn't know Wang Lin's identity. The youth in black coldly looked at Wang Lin and waved his hand. 2 corpse sect disciples immediately flew toward Wang Lin. One of the corpse sect disciples clasped their hands and said, "Fellow cultivator, my corpse sect was the first one to battle this ancient Qi refiner. Please go somewhere else." Although his words were polite, his gaze was hostile. The people next to him were the same, they had cold gazes. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he nodded and flew along the side. When the people of the corpse sect saw Wang Lin leave, they didn't pay attention to him anymore. The youth in black didn't even look at Wang Lin, he only looked at the old man in red, and his eyes were filled with greed. I must have the body and origin soul of this ancient cultivator. Wang Lin flew through the void and saw simply too many cultivators. These cultivators were all in small groups of 3 to 5. Some were by themselves, as if they were looking for something. Wang Lin also saw some of the ancient cultivators from Tuo Sen's Blood Sea, and they were all surrounded by large amounts of cultivators. Every time Wang Lin got close, he would be stopped just like with the corpse sect. Although they sounded polite, if Wang Lin took one more step, there would have been conflict. Wang Lin's expression was calm, but there was disdain in his eyes. Every time he encountered such a situation, he chose to leave. The temptation of ancient Qi refiners is enough to fill some people with greed. There is a price to pay to obtain the cultivation methods and spells of these ancient cultivators. Although all these ancient cultivators had varying cultivation levels, they all had powerful spells. Often, just one of them had enough power to kill several of the cultivators fighting them. All the ancient cultivators Wang Lin saw were the weak ones from the Sea of Blood. Wang Lin hadn't seen a single of the strong ancient cultivators yet. I wonder where Master Flamespark and those corp-sect powerful cultivators went. Wang Lin spread out his divine sense and looked. This void was too large for him to cover with his divine sense. On the 8th day, Wang Lin suddenly stopped and looked ahead. He saw a blood-red light suddenly appear in the void in the distance. There was also a thunderous rumble when the blood light spread. It had spread for an unknown amount of time before appearing before Wang Lin's eyes. Looking back, the blood light had already pushed even further away. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he charged out and teleported to where the ripple came from. This blood ripple caused a powerful origin energy fluctuation. Only a very powerful cultivator could cause a shockwave this powerful. Master Flamespark's face was pale as he stared at an old man in red. This old man was completely red, even his eyes were crimson. However, there was no sense of madness, only a cold calmness. Spell fluctuations rippled around the two of them and they both retreated, but they didn't say a word. The old man in red waved his sleeves and a sea of blood appeared. The sea of blood turned into a dragon and charged at Master Flamespark with a roar. The moment the dragon appeared, it created 8 more heads, turning into a 9-headed blood dragon. It let out a heaven-shaking roar and closed in on Master Flamespark. This trick again. Master Flamespark quickly retreated as his hands formed a seal and he hit his forehead. A burning bead appeared from between his eyebrows. With a point of his finger, the bead turned into a sea of flames that flew toward the 9-headed dragon. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, the old man in red moved forward. He moved like lightning through the blood dragon and sea of flames to arrive before Master Flamespark. He then raised his right hand and mercilessly slammed down. Master Flamespark was already on guard. He retreated once more and he spat something out. It was a small fragment that quickly grew. It was a celestial realm fragment. There was a loud bang when the old man in red's hand landed on the fragment and he was pushed back. He then coldly looked at Master Flamespark and his hands formed a seal. He waved his hand and revealed a painful expression. Countless blood bubbles swelled up on his face. This sight was so shocking that it would make your heart go cold. Master Flamespark had been battling against this ancient cultivator for a day already, but they were still at a stalemate. Seeing the other's skin suddenly change like that, Master Flamespark was a bit shocked and immediately went on guard. His right hand reached at the void, and a crack appeared and a fan flew out. This fan was completely white, as if it was made of jade. The moment the fan appeared, all the blood bubbles on the old man broke and he was covered in blood. He released a beast-like roar and his body immediately swelled up. The veins on his body swelled and the old man no longer looked human. His body flickered and immediately charged at Master Flamespark. Master Flamespark retreated and was about to use the fan when he suddenly stopped. He revealed a respectful expression and then put away the fan. An old hand silently appeared before the charging old man. The hand's index finger gently pointed forward. This casual point made it seem like the old man in red had collided with it on his own. The finger landed between the old man's eyebrows. The old man's body trembled. The finger pierced through the old man's skull as if poking through a piece of paper. The old man in red's head exploded into a bloodlight that spread like crazy in all directions. Even his body collapsed. An old man in black walked out from the void. His expression was calm as he walked out and revealed a hint of melancholy. I didn't think he was really hiding here. Master Flamespark had a respectful expression and said, "Greetings, Exalted One." The old man in black frowned and muttered to himself, "Such a big movement can't even make him appear. What exactly is his goal?" Exalted One. Outside planet Suzaku before, that treasure, those words, Master Flamespark didn't agree with coming here, but it was this person's order, so he had no power to refuse. At this moment, he vaguely pointed out that terrifying existence. The old man silently pondered. After a long time, He shook his head and let out a sigh. Master Wuji, what exactly are you trying to do? At the same time, inside the blood sea on the large, stone pillar, Tuosen stood up. He looked at the blood-red sky and revealed a ferocious smile. I can kill enough this time. With a mad laugh, Tuosen took a step and his right hand reached out to tear the sky. A large rift appeared in the blood sea, and what was on the outside was the void where most of the cultivators were located. There were hundreds of cultivators sitting at the bottom of the blood sea. All of them opened their eyes and flew into the air. This video will end here.